Do you feel like you're living life on a loop? You get up, you research some prospects, you reach out, you book some meetings, maybe you close a sale, and you come home, you scroll social media, and then you go to bed. You probably make just enough cash at the end of each month to be content, but not enough that you can actually go and live the life that you want to live. Well, as Thornton Burgess says, who runs in circles never gets far. And, well, 11 years ago, that was me in my last sales role. Today, 10 years, 11 years later, I run a 7-figure business at salesman.com, and I've even got enough time left over to run my second YouTube channel over at Photography Explained that gets 500, 600,000 views a month. So if you're ambitious but you're lazy, then it's probably because you've got these goals, this future reality you want to move towards, but you don't know the path yet to making that future reality possible, plausible, to make it happen. And well, the first step to making it happen is pretty easy. You've just got to come to the terms with the fact that your life right now is probably a little bit disappointing. Now, it's fine to feel disappointment with where you are in life right now. You need a certain level of disappointment to give you the motivation to change. Disappointment, well, it can be a powerful tool if you embrace it and you allow yourself to just absolutely, truly, and I mean this, allow yourself just to get pissed off, even if it's just for a second. That might be all you need to really get moving forward with all of this. And the fact that you clicked on this video in the first place means that, well, there is a gap between your current reality and the future reality that you'd like to be living in. And as Henry Ward Beecher said, one's best success comes after their greatest disappointments. So, right now, you're watching this video. What are you so pissed off about right now? Who has the things that you want? Do they deserve those things more than what you do? Have they worked harder? Have they worked longer? Maybe they deserve these things more than you, maybe not. But I want you to try and capture that disappointment, to spark a little bit of anger, and to then stoke that anger into a bit of rage so that you can actually get some shit done and start to change your situation. Which then of course leads us to the question, how do you actually go about changing your situation? Well, in my training program, there's one video that gets way more feedback and positive attention and people telling me kind of like years later how much it was impactful for them after the fact. And that's a mindset video in the training that explains in a nutshell that you must become the person who can hit your goals before you're ever going to be able to hit them. And this is often a real turning point for people who are running through the training, as it gives them both like the permission and the authority to kill who they are right now to become the person who is capable of hitting their goals. Think of it like this, right? If you were the person who is capable of moving to that future reality in an instant and living that awesome dream life, well, you would have obviously already done it. You would be there right now, but you're not there right now. Instead, you're watching a dude on the internet trying to shift your paradigm, trying to kind of play with your brain a little bit so you can make that leap and get over to the future reality that you want to move towards. And so if you want to make this kind of transformation, if you want to go from where you are right now to where you want to get to in life, then you've got to get you the current version of yourself. You've got to put the head in the guillotine and you've got to let it drop. You've got to accept that if you can kill your current self, there is a better, more improved, superior version of yourself just waiting there, ready to step into the spotlight. So, with all these metaphors, right, how then do you go about killing the current version of yourself? Well, the first step to becoming the person who's capable of hitting your goals, to live that bigger, brighter, bolder life, is to kill the person that you are right now. And to do that, you need to define who that future person is. Now, I personally do this once a quarter. And typically day to day, I'm kind of happy. I've got an amazing family. I've got no debt. I've got cash in the bank. I've run a great business. I've got absolute freedom to do whatever I want most of the week, most of the month, most of the year. And I'm very grateful for all of that. But once a quarter, I sit down with a pen and paper and I list out the things that would make my life better. And I go completely nuts with this. I am completely selfish. I'm ignorant to the reality that I'm in at that moment, because again, I'm going to try and shift my reality and change the person that I am, kill who I am right now to become that future, brighter, better version of myself. And in previous quarters, it's been the obvious stuff, like I've bought my dream cars, I've traveled all over the world, I've paid off my mortgage, the basic kind of financial elements that play into all of this as well for most people. But for this quarter, it was for me to spend less time talking to clients, spend more time with my new baby girl, got a 6-month-old baby in the house, and spending more time out in the mountains doing landscape photography. So with those goals defined, to start achieving them, I need to become the person who is living that life. I need to take those goals and I need to become the person who those things are achieved by default. So how do I go about doing that? So in my quest to spend less time, literally less time on Zoom calls, I had to become the owner of a business that separated time from cash flow. Because right now I do a lot of one-to-one consulting and group consulting. That takes up a lot of my week, right? Which is, I enjoy doing it, it's fine, but that's not the future version of me. That's not how they spend their time. So I launched a self-paced version of Salesman.com Academy last week, and I'll explain how that works in a second if you'd be interested in learning more about it. But this is going to free up my time to spend more time with the baby while she's still young, and as a dad I've seen all these amazing first experiences because I've got an office at home, a couple of offices at home that we work from, and I get to see all these incredible things that she's going through right now. And to motivate myself and to build the commitment that I'm going to spend more time up in the mountains doing landscape photography, which is my real passion in life, right? I've hired one of the world's top landscape photographers as a one-to-one coach, and I've got commitments to him now. I have to go out, I have to achieve these goals. There are photography competitions that we're going to enter this year. There are things that we have to physically get done to make all that kind of stuff happen. And so within a week of this quarter, after I'd sat down, done these exercises and come up with these system, the process to become that better version of myself, I was that better version of myself. And it's literally as simple as that. There doesn't have to be a dramatic transformation from where you are right now to where you want to be in a month, in a quarter, in 6 months. But if you keep doing this over and over and over again, you're going to find that where you are right now versus where you're going to be in 2 years is going to be absolutely unrecognizable. And if you're sat there thinking, oh, well, this is fine for this dude because he's got some money, or you're sat there thinking, I've got some commitments that are going to stop me from taking these leaps, or it's not so simple for me because of like X or Y or Z, then you're just deluding yourself. You are choosing to stay the same person that you were yesterday, that maybe you were a year ago. And honestly, it's kind of sad, but you see it all the time for all walks of life. There's people who've been the same person that they were 10, 20 years ago. And if that is the case, you're never going to achieve the goals that you've set for yourself because, again, I'm repeating it over and over, but if you were the person capable of hitting those goals, you would have already hit them. You, if this is the case and you're watching this and that resonates, then you are choosing to be stuck. Why? Well, you're probably just frustrated enough to watch a video like this, but that frustration hasn't turned into disappointment, which hasn't turned into anger yet, which is going to then lead you to taking some action. The problem is, though, that this static state is eventually going to catch up to you. Eventually, you're going to look back at the last 5, 10, 15, 20 years, 50 years, whatever it ends up being. You're going to look at that period of your life, and you're going to wish that you would have taken the leap or made a change to become someone different. It is inevitable. If you look at the last dime regrets of old people, and there's tons of research and data on this, there's only 5 or 6 regrets, and a bunch of them are that people just weren't true to themselves. Essentially, they wanted to become this version of themselves, and for whatever reason, they never took action, they never got to that point. Now, every time that I feel stuck, because I'm a human, I'm not immune to any of this either, every time I feel stuck in my current reality, even though I know that there's a pathway to becoming the person who's capable of hitting these big, bold goals that I have, I think about Jeff Bezos's regret minimization framework. And the framework's dead simple. All you're going to do is ask yourself, in 10 years, will I regret not doing this? And if the answer is yes, then you're an idiot for not taking action and getting started. If the answer is no, then you're probably not setting your sights far enough. Your future reality isn't big and bold enough that you would regret not getting there. And so you probably need to think a little bit bigger. Okay, now let's say that you agree that the current version of yourself isn't capable of achieving your ambitions. And so you've decided to kill the current version of yourself. You've then decided on the life that you want. You've committed to becoming the person that is capable of living that life. Well, what are the next few practical steps to start that transformation? So you leave this video with some actionable next steps to make this progress happen. Well, the first thing you gotta do when you're making that leap from where you are right now to where you want to get to, the person you are right now to the person you want to become, is you gotta change your environment. Ask yourself questions like, does this new version of you live in an untidy home? If that's not the case, then you need to get your shit tidied up. Does the new version of you get respected by the customers and their peers? Then you've got to start dressing and acting like someone that gets respect from people by default. Questions like, does the new version of you have the time to hang around with the loser friends that you have right now? If the answer is no, then stop hanging out with those idiots, either in person or vicariously on the internet, via social media. And this leads me to the next point, right? And this might be the most crucial step in becoming the new version of yourself. You've got to eliminate what I call bad vibes. I know that sounds flippant, but hear me out here. The transition from killing your old self and becoming your new self, it can be delicate in places. It isn't a straight line. It's certainly not kind of step 1, step 2, step 3, and each of these steps being equal in the effort and the energy that you've got to put in to make that transformation. Someone you love criticizing a change that you've made or a slight lapse in motivation can have this transformation just absolutely fall into pieces. So, and this shouldn't be that hard. We're obviously wired and programmed from a young age and manipulated by all these different sources I'm going to run through right now to become addicted to them. But what you've got to do is pretty obvious. Stop watching the news, get off social media, surround yourself with the people that your future self would be surrounded by. And if you can't make these small sacrifices, then you're going to sacrifice everything moving forward. I'll say that again. If you can't make small sacrifices now to become the future version of yourself that has everything that you want, then you're going to sacrifice that dream altogether. And once you've eliminated the dark forces that are trying to stop you from making this transformation, the things that are pulling at your heels, trying to drag you back to just being at best average, if not just kind of a loser, then there's one final step that's going to help you make this leap. So if it was easy to become your desired future self, you'd have already done it. Sure, you've got to get disappointed enough to start the process, you got to define your desired future reality, you've got to start building the environment, and then you've got to nurture that change and make sure that you get over the line. But having trained over 2,500 salespeople and founders over the past 10 years or so, the thing that really accelerates transformation from people's current reality to their future reality is that they have a plan, which is not rocket science, right? And that plan gets followed. So if part of your transformation involves finding buyers, closing deals, creating cash flow, and generating wealth so that you can live that big, bold future life that you want to move towards, then the best step-by-step plan is going to be found over at salesman.com Academy. Now, as I mentioned earlier on in the video, I've just launched a brand new version of salesman.com Academy without all the expensive one-to-one calls, the group coaching, the hand-holding from me, basically. And so, because it doesn't have all that, I've managed to drop the price to 1/10 of what it was previously. So if you'd like access to the world's best proven end-to-end sales process and a brand new sales influence system that's been built by me and the team over at salesman.com from the ground up to help you eliminate sales objections and close deals much faster, then click the link in the description and check it out today.